ended up getting to a point where like my mom literally she was like, I'm not gonna cook for your father no more. We at high school now, and this is when I faced my first trial. That's when I got cancer, lymphoma. I wake up in the morning and I think I'm getting buff. My mom's like, no, like I think you're actually like bloated. And one day I woke up and I was brushing my teeth, but before I even started brushing my teeth, I ended up breaking down. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, bro, I don't even know the person I'm looking at right now. It doesn't look like me. After I got out my sickness, I was just slowly watching my parents deteriorate. But my mom, she was a caterer. She fell off her food truck, hit her head, brain started bleeding. After that, it was just like a slow deteriorations over the next couple of years. My dad, he already lost his eyesight from his diabetes. I ended up having to leave his hospital and go to the hospital my mom was at. For me to walk in, my mom not remember who I was. I have to basically manage both of my parents, not just one no more. And at the same time, they're still bickering. On my graduation day, I got served. Like, I'm in my button-down shirt. Like, I got to go to my ceremony. Before the grad ceremony.
Oh,
Before the grad ceremony, I'm literally looking at a stack of papers like this big. Samuel Clark is being sued for $100,000 for my father's house. And I was just like, bro, this is sick work.
What's going on, everybody? Pleasure to be with you all. Today we got Sam. How you doing today, Sam?
It's good, y'all. How you doing?
So we want to introduce Sam on and have him share his story, things he's been through, and the man, and how it, really folded him into the man he is today. So tell me your story, bro.
All right. Well, yeah, like I said, my name's Samuel Clark, and I'm from a small family of 4, 5 if I include my sister, but she never lived with us. She never lived with us for real. I was born in Toronto, and my mom ended up moving me down to Miami. That's where my dad lived. And that's where I was majority raised. And life was good. I never really had no complaints when I was younger. I played soccer when I was 3. Well, that's when I started playing soccer, when I was 3. I was a good kid. My parents were strict, but, they're Caribbean, so you know how that get down. No games on the weekdays.
Bro, me too, bro. I'll have to, bro. Friday come, I was so happy to get Friday, man. I feel that, bro. I feel that. I guess it's a Florida, South Florida thing, but bro, I feel that.
Nah, it was real.
I used to hate them weekdays.
But even to add on to that, I couldn't even see my friends like that unless it was the weekend. So it was just like I only really seen people at school. I used to look forward to school, and my mom used to always like put that down, like, all right, like our throats, like, make sure y'all get an education, make sure y'all paying attention in school, make sure y'all doing this. My dad was the one who really like he really let us like venture off into the actual hobbies that we wanted to do. So he was the one who told me like, if you like soccer, like we gonna get you into soccer. And then like around middle schoolish, that's when I started picking up instruments in school for classes. But once he found that out, that he played a guitar, he was like, oh nah, like we gonna really up this one up. So I did end up learning the guitar and drums through him. But I don't play either of those instruments like that no more. But hopefully we pick them up later. But life was good. I enjoyed my life until life wasn't so good no more. Progressed through middle school, went through K through 8. I wasn't with a lot of people like us, but it's okay. And I literally felt, I guess you could say I felt out of place at times. So it definitely caused me to shrink back into my shell.
As in they weren't black?
Yeah, okay. They weren't black. So like I was really around a lot of white kids, Jewish kids. They had way more money than me. They lived different experiences.
This was in Miami, right?
Yeah, this was in Miami. And it was like a fresh new K through 8 center that my mom had her friends get me into through, connections. It'd be like that sometimes. But life was still good. Education was easy. The teachers, they were great. So I never really had no complaints. But then started progressing, and then we get to like high school, and this is when things start to get more serious. I ain't never had no complaints about my life, but my parents, their relationship wasn't the best. I personally never felt like I got taught what true love is from a parent, or just seeing that as like a couple. I never seen what that really is like. I never really felt like my dad gave my mom true love and vice versa. They used to argue a lot, especially as I started getting older and I started actually understanding what was going on. And it ended up getting to a point where like my mom literally she was like, I'm not gonna cook for your father no more. Like, so like anything my dad needed, usually it was me or my sister. If he needs something to eat and I gotta go to the store, figure out how to make some mackerel and rice. I ain't never made this before, but he teaching me, like he watching me. He like, yeah, put the rice on the stove, add the butter, and then do this to the mackerel.
He said, add the butter.
And my mom, like, she just did her own thing. She tried like cook for me and my brother, but like really and truly, I felt some type of way like you over here trying to make sure. I understand you really want your kids to be okay, but I felt some type of way that like you're not cooking for my dad as well. So like, but I did what I could to make sure that he would be okay. And I learned a lot in the process. But their fighting just continued and it got worse and worse. My dad had type 2 diabetes, and that definitely taking a role on his life. And he didn't care necessarily to, I want to say, take care of himself. And so we used to tell him like, hey, you can't eat certain things, but he used to just be like, I love him, so like I'm still eat it. And it gets to a point where it's just like you really just have to accept things and learn to just be there for your peoples until said time. More time passes, and yeah, we at high school now. And this is when I faced my first trial, and that's when I got cancer, lymphoma, and I got that.
What is lymphoma, if you can describe it for him?
I got you. Lymphoma is a cancer. Like, it's really and truly a cancer where your white blood cells go out of whack. The doctors, when I got diagnosed, they didn't have no reasoning for why it happened to me. It's not family past. It can just randomly happen in children.
It's not genetic.
Yeah, it's not genetic. So that's what happened. I got lymphoma. I ended up catching lymphoma, and the way we found out was over the summer after my freshman year. I was training to play soccer for my sophomore year. After I did tryouts freshman year, coach told me to come back next year. But he was looking for me the whole year. I just never knew that because I thought I didn't make the team. I didn't find out to the end of the year, but he had somebody tell me like, train up and we gonna get you right for sophomore year coming. I thought I was getting swole. I indeed was not getting swole, man. I was getting swollen. So I used to wake up in the morning and I think I'm getting buff. My mom's like, no, like I think you're actually like bloated. And as the day would go on, like the bloating, the swelling would go away. And so like my face would shrink back down, my body would shrink back down, and I go back to normal. And I go to sleep, wake up, and the same thing would happen again. And my mom like started getting worried. And then one day I woke up and I was brushing my teeth, but before I even started brushing my teeth, I ended up breaking down. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, bro, I don't even know the person I'm looking at right now. It doesn't look like me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how swollen my face was. I started crying, but I ended up just starting to brush my teeth. And after I finished brushing my teeth, I passed out. When I woke up, I was on the bathroom floor. I didn't know what happened. I started walking towards the stairs so I can go talk to some of my family, and passed out again. This time I woke up with my head hanging off the table, hanging off the stairs. My bad. My brother and his best friend were literally just about to walk out the door. They heard the thump, ran upstairs, and like they seen me there. They ended up calling the ambulance. They moved me from the edge of the stairs. I woke up this time. I realized my head bleeding, my toes bleeding. Ambulance comes and they check my vitals and they're like, your son's okay. Like, we don't know what's going on, but your son's vitals seem perfectly fine. Like, we don't know what's wrong with him. And we over here questioning things, but we not trying to keep them here because they're telling us the truth. More time passes, and now it's like, I want to say like a couple more weeks, and I have to wake up early to go to school. But that's that night prior, I didn't get no sleep. And that was because like I was feeling a pain in my top right shoulder. I didn't know what was causing the pain. It just felt like somebody had a knife here and it was just like constantly stabbing at my shoulder on end. And that's how excruciating the pain felt to me. I literally have no other way to explain it, but I literally was just wide awake feeling pain. I got up, I went to my mom's room. I was like, hey, I think you should take me to the emergency room. Like, I'm in a lot of pain and I can't bear it. We go. They give me painkillers as soon as we get there. they don't work after 10 minutes. But they're doing their test, and I just got to eat the pain. They come back. That's when they tell me I have a clot in my chest, and the clot spread all the way out here. So they ended up having to rush me to Joe DiMaggio, if you ever heard of that hospital. It's a children's hospital. Like, I want to say, like, I think it's in Hollywood or around that area down south. And once I got there.
Hollywood, Florida, not Hollywood, California.
Yeah. Once I got there, they rushed me into like an operation room, and they ended up having to do a biopsy on me, which is basically they cut your chest open to take a sample of the cancer that you have to figure out what type of cancer you have. And then that's the last thing I remember before I had to get an epidermal. To all the ladies out there, I have a newfound respect for you all. That is the most painful thing I've ever had to deal with. And I heard that women have to get that before pregnancy. Hats off to all of them. That's a very painful thing. It goes straight up your spine. I never wish it on nobody. But after that, I woke up in my hospital room. Doctor comes in, and he's like, your son has lymphoma. My family, it caught them off guard. We was all sad. They told me I'm going to have to leave school. I'm going to have to stop playing sports. I'm really just going to have to chill out and just focus on healing. I'm going to have to do chemo for 7 months. And that's basically what I ended up doing. But I compressed it into 6 so I could spend Christmas with my family. A horrible decision. Because it makes you very weak, very susceptible to get other sicknesses. And I just felt horrible during my time. I didn't usually eat much during my chemotherapy treatment, so I lost a lot of weight. But that was the best way for me to go about it, because the hospital now just makes me very nauseous anytime I step foot in it. More time passes, though, and we beat cancer, but I can tell that took a toll on my parents. My dad he already lost his eyesight from his diabetes. And matter of fact, he tried to do laser eye surgery, but didn't heal up from it either. Dang. Yeah. And I feel like after I got out my sickness, I was just slowly watching my parents deteriorate. I went back to high school. The only kid in the school who was allowed to wear beanies because he don't got no hair. Everybody was intrigued about it, but it was cool. Like, I ain't had no problem talking about it or talking about anything I was going through. But my mom, she ended up having her first incident shortly after that. So she was a caterer, and she fell off her food truck, hit her head, brain started bleeding. And after that, it was just like a slow deteriorations over the next couple of years. Top it off with my dad, who can barely see. So it's just like, now I feel like I have to basically manage both of my parents, not just one no more. And at the same time, they're still bickering. So it's just like, it was hard to deal with and hard to go through while you're trying to focus on finding a way out for yourself at the same time, because I still wanted to go to college. But now it made things difficult. So I ended up applying to UCF. It's the only school I wanted to go to because it's the school that my brother was at. And I was like, hey, if I don't get into UCF, I ain't going to college. But one of the ladies in the office, they ended up helping me write my letter with everything I went through with cancer, and UCF ended up accepting me.
That's nice.
So I was really happy about that. Started making plans to like basically come out here, get my financial aid, all that stuff in order, to find out my mom didn't want to do her taxes. So that hindered me. I wasn't going to be able to get financial aid. More time passed, and it got to the point where I ended up having to ask the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is basically, you know what that is? Mm-hmm. All right, Make-A-Wish, basically, they grant kids who've beaten cancer like a wish or a treat after they finish their treatment. And to me, I asked them if they could pay for my first year of college. I ended up getting
smart idea.
Yeah, I ended up getting a grant for $10,000. They sent it to UCF. UCF took out like my first year.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Yes, it was. It was a true blessing. And I got the rest of that money in my pocket, and
Cha-ching.
Mm-hmm. But and rent, I don't even want to talk about rent, but luckily I was in a situation where my rent was really cheap, $367 to be exact. Yeah, people don't see that. But I was living with 3 other dudes. Yeah, 3 other dudes, and we were sharing a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. But I knew all of them. At first it was me and my brother, but my brother ended up moving out. We had like just his friends. Like he went to high school with me and then another random person that we ended up finding. But I was able to like basically section off my money and spend it wisely for that first year so that I didn't run out. I had enough money to cover my rent for that first year. And literally by the time I'm about to run out of money, that's when I made enough connection in college to finally land me my first job as a porter. And that's what I used to help me pay for my school, and anything else I needed while I was still trying to figure myself out and figure out how I'm gonna actually get financial aid.
So what year is this going on?
Right now, this is 2018. 2018, 2019 now. I want to say for sure. 2019, I'm a porter for an apartment complex in Orlando. And I finally figured out a way to get financial aid, but it came at the cost of what my parents was going through. So I ended up applying for a dependency override, which basically means that the state's not looking at my parents to be taking care of me no more. They're just looking at my own income because I'm basically taking care of myself. And since I'm only making a limited amount, they were able to easily grant me financial aid. You get what I'm saying? Because this is somebody who needs it, but doesn't have the ability to attain it because of what his parents are going through. And that was able to work things out for me for the rest of my time in college, at least as far as like financial aid goes. I want to say it's later that year in 2019. I ended up getting a call from my aunt, and she told me that my dad's hospitalized, and that my mom is also hospitalized at the same time, but in a hospital that's an hour away from him.
Wow.
So I ended up having to come down to Miami, and my friend, thankfully, one of my friend homeboys, Jason, he ended up taking me to go see my dad first, and that one hit me hard. I never seen my dad like that. You can tell he was going through it. The clots in his leg caused him trouble. He's not really able to walk. And he ended up having to go through his own chemo treatments for those clots in his leg. And then I ended up having to leave his hospital to go to the hospital my mom was at for me to walk in and my mom not remember who I was. It's all in the same day. So I was just like, this is insane. I ended up breaking down, and luckily my aunt was there and she was able to help me through it a little bit. But I ended up leaving. I was like hurting. Came back up to Orlando because I still had to focus on school and getting things done up here. But now we're 2020, beginning of the year. I want to say around like January. I'm on the phone with my dad, and great conversation. Get off the phone with him. 5 minutes later, I end up talking to the lady who's taking care of him. We making plans to make sure he's okay. And boom, I end up getting off the phone with her 5 minutes after that. So I want to say like around 10, 15 minutes total since I stopped talking to my dad. I get a phone call back from her, and she's telling me my dad is unresponsive on the couch. Like, an ambulance came, they said he's gone. And I didn't know what to believe. I promise you, me and him were just joking, literally so quick ago. And I was distraught. Family members was calling me. I didn't really want to talk. Like, I didn't know how to process what I was going through. But I literally had to work on things by myself at the time because I didn't have resources yet. And slowly get better to a point where I felt comfortable. At least that's what I told myself. And now we progressed through 2020. College is going good. I still don't have to pay no fees because financial aid's covering things. I ended up going Greek at the end of 2020. I joined Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. And literally as soon as I finished joining, next phone call, my aunt's calling me. And she's like, you're going to have to pack your stuff and come up here for a little while to say goodbye to your mom. So I end up quitting being a porter, go take a little break, go to Georgia. And that's when I seen my mom like hooked up to the most machines I ever seen in my life. And they actually, honestly, it looked worse than what I seen when I went to go visit my dad, truly and freely. I never wanted to see that. Ended up going into the family room and crying for the rest of the day until my family was ready to leave. And then I ended up eventually heading back to Orlando. Thankfully, the Brotherhood, the person who indicted me, he ended up getting me a job as a patient transporter at Advent Health. And that was my next job. So that held me over. I was able to make some good money, pay my rent still, but I was still dealing with everything that I was going through, with no real way to get my emotions out. Now we in 2022. My mom passed in 2021. 2022 is when I quit working at the hospital, and I started working at Nike. And at Nike is when I was able to get more resources. They had mental health coaching. I ended up picking that up, meeting my mental health coach, a black lady that I picked. And she was literally one of the best ladies I met in my life. She gave me so many resources and ways to handle the emotions that I'm currently going through. Nice. And ways to just process how I'm feeling in the moment. And then determine how I want to combat that the next time my feelings come around. And it gave me perspective that I felt like I didn't have. A great unbiased opinion is a big help that I think a lot of people would really enjoy if they just took the time to reach out to that one person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel like anybody who goes through something like this shouldn't be afraid to like seek out like help like that, or a therapist or a mental health coach, because I genuinely feel like it's worth it. But she helped me through, and in the beginning of 2021, after my mom passed, that's when I ended up picking up my camera. And it started off as a coping mechanism for me, just to like clear how I was feeling, escape from what I was feeling. But after doing some free shoots for some friends and practicing a lot, they really started getting in my ear like, hey, bro, I think you should take this seriously. And I wasn't thinking about it like that, but I started to. I made an LLC even though I wasn't sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. Made my business, and I just like set it all up, built a business credit line, and just like slowly started working on my business while I was still working at Nike. Now we get into 2023. We in 2023, and I'm at Nike miserable. Like, bro, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Like I could be focusing on what I really enjoy doing.
Is that the outlets?
Nah, like right next to that outlet. So you know where the outlets are? Store? Yeah, the clearance store. Yes, that's where I was working at, bro.
There's two of them. The one in Violent or the
Premium.
one? Okay, yeah, so the one next to Texas Day Brazil.
Yes, that is exact one. Yes, bro. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. That was a nice job until it wasn't nice anymore. Okay, but a lot of pickups, a lot of nice clothes. I loved working there, really and truly. I really did. I loved it. It's already a clearance store.
The discounts on top of the clearance store?
Bruh, I'm telling you. Like, you want to know how much I pay for those?
How much?
40.
40?
Yes.
How much the retail?
Bruh, those like over 150 because those are collab dunks.
Fire. So I'm going to have to go to the clearance store after this. Tap in.
It was real good, bro. It was real good. But I ended up, there was a lady in the store. Her name was Max. One day she caught me crying on the clock, and she ended up just praying for me because she knows how talented I am, or how much I love and enjoy doing photography. So she ends up praying for me on the clock, and she's like, listen, just take some time, fast on it, pray about it, and then really, if you really feel like this is what you need to do, like, take this chance now. You're young, so if you mess up, like, you have time to build yourself back. And mind you, I've never fasted before in my life, but like, this is something that really was bothering me, and I had to talk. I prayed about it. And I had to call my family and have a serious conversation. Like, this is what I'm genuinely thinking about doing. And I really want y'all support. And they were all supportive. I didn't fast the way like most people typically would. I just gave up something that I know I usually spend a lot of time on. That's the game. I told myself, listen, I'm not touching this. So like while I'm trying to figure this all out, and I'll just I'm staying focused on the things I need to stay focused on. I told all my homies too, like, listen, don't look for me.
Don't invite me.
Don't invite me. Like, I don't need no temptation. I'm not going to be on there. And they respected the decision. I appreciate them for that, because it really did give me the peace of mind that I needed to really think about what I wanted to do. Yeah. And eventually I came to the conclusion. I ended up quitting Nike and taking my business seriously. Mm-hmm. And this is in the middle of 2023. And since then, like, I just been slowly building my brand and working on the things that I need to get myself to a space or a place where people can notice the work that I do and really appreciate it for what it is.
It's good.
In the midst of me, like, working towards getting my degree, because I got my degree in 2022 as well. So when I literally around the time that shortly after I was working at Nike. So graduation was in 2022, and on my graduation day, I got served.
Not on the graduation day.
Yeah, on my graduation day, I got served. White man at my doorstep. I'm talking about I'm in my grad, like I'm in my button down shirt, like I gotta go to my ceremony. White dudes on my doorstep.
Oh, this before this graduation or after?
Before the grad ceremony.
Oh,
like before the grad ceremony. I'm literally looking at a stack of papers like this big, bro, with my name on the top, and he like, and I promise you, like you read through that first section, and Samuel Clark is being sued for $100,000 or my father's house, and I was just like, bro, this is sick work. And the people who served me was the people who was the lady who was taking care of my dad at the time. I've seen her throughout my life. I don't know their full connection, but she came down from wherever she was at to help my dad when he was sick during his like last month or two. He had a helper there, but he didn't like her, so he called her to come. After my dad passed, this lady made herself very comfortable in his house. We didn't get rent for 2 years. We asked. I made it very, very, very reasonable for where the house is located. Mind you, that thing's right next to the Dolphin Stadium down south. Walking distance, close. Yeah. And she squatted there for years, 2 years. And we finally were able to get her evicted. And when we did, I got served.
Someone had to pay it.
Yeah, I got served.
I remember you were telling me, like, what was the process of getting a lawyer? Didn't you say your dad had a lawyer prior and then there was another?
Yes, he did. My dad he had a lawyer that he was dealing with. And when I got served, I only had 1 day to respond. So, of course, we went to the people that our family knew or had a relationship with. That lawyer ended up hitting me on the head for $7,500 because my dad owed him money before he passed. For him to not do nothing for the next year and a half and then eventually quit on me. And I know that sounds like mean to say that he wasn't doing nothing, but literally, like, I ended up having to find a new lawyer, pay her another $5,000 for her to tell me that my previous lawyer didn't do nothing. And he was trying to get another $5,000 out of me without having filed anything in our defense, really. And he literally could have saved us so much time. But now we're on a better path with a new lawyer who already found a new defense for us, and is genuinely trying to fight for our case so that things don't play out in their favor. But I've been dealing with that, having to pay taxes on my dad's house, having to fix up the house with my aunt. And me and my aunt literally just been back and forth, Bonnie and Clyde, just handling all the situations that.
Shout out to Auntie.
Real talk. Shout out to Auntie for helping me out, being there for me, and just like watching over me throughout the whole process. Cause like, bro, I'm only 24, 23, 22 during like majority of these like major events, and like, bro, I don't know how to navigate all these life problems. You know what I'm saying? So I really did need somebody there in my corner helping me out. I love her so much, and I don't want nothing bad happen to her. She's my role model, my parental figure. Like, she's everything to me. So and I really just be wanting to not have her stressed out. That's why I work so hard now. Like, God knows she's worried about me, especially since I'm here by myself. And I just know she loves me. I don't want her to have to worry about anything. But we really been doing our best to keep everything under check. Me and my aunt had to go through multiple probates to get everything like situated between me and my siblings and all the percentages and all that stuff. So now we just want to get through this last hurdle. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've gotten to a place where I know I have trauma. I know I have times where I can get depressed, but I'm very thankful that God kept me here and he's been keeping me along the way. I tell everybody, no matter what, like, the only reason I'm still here right now is because of God. Like, even if I'm not, like, I grew up in a Christian household and they had me going to church every Sunday. But even now I don't go to church every Sunday. I do my best to make sure that I read my Bible more frequently. I talk to God more frequently because it feels good being able to talk to somebody knowing that, like, you don't have to worry about the problems by yourself no more. Even if at times you don't feel like He listening. He listening. He listening. You know what I'm saying? And it gives me a peace it gives me a peace of mind, sense of comfort. And I really be thanking him that my life isn't worse than what it actually is. I still have a roof over my head. I still got clothes. I still got food. I can still provide for the things and people I want to provide for. Like
perspective.
I have things to be grateful for. You feel what I'm saying? It's just unfortunate that I had to be the one that went through these same experiences, but that also means that now I have stories that I can tell and I can share for others who might be going through the same thing. And that was something I had to get over because it was a lot for me. It was a lot for me. But I'm thankful that things are progressing, and really and truly, I just can't wait till we get through this last hurdle so that like we can just really focus on getting things to where we want it to be, and I can really just focus on taking care of my family and the people that I want to take care of.
That's good. When you were talking, it made me think about this scripture. It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3. It says, "Praise be to God and Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, and the Father of compassion and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all of our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God." It's like whenever you're going through things, it's a testimony so you can bring comfort to someone else that might be going through the same thing in a prior season that you were in. So when you were sharing that, that's what it made me think about. What do you feel like, as we close, is one thing that you feel like your story has taught you and can teach others to inspire others in their life and their career path?
I want to say is like, really and truly, once you go through everything that you go through, you really do get to a place where you do feel like you're alone and you don't have like people there. That's not the case. Like I say that like when people do go through things like this, we should learn to lean on others. That's one thing that I've learned throughout this whole process. It's like you can't do it by yourself. No matter how hard you try to, you have to talk to somebody. You have to reach out to somebody. Speak to God if you have to. Like just get your emotions out. You know what I'm saying? Like don't hold it in. I feel like the perception is like, especially for men, like we have to like stay strong all the time. People tell me I'm strong. I do not think I'm strong in the slightest, bro. I don't. I feel like I'm always emotional. I feel like I'm always like in my head about things. But I'm very happy that I was finally able to get to a point where I'm able to open up to others, because now that I've seen how much people want to help or people wish they could help.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And that's not something that's not something that you're going to be able to experience if you keep everything to yourself. You feel me?
I like what you were saying. I was doing a video on this earlier, and I don't know, do you know the shortest Bible or the shortest verse in the Bible? It's John chapter 11, verse 35, and it says Jesus wept. And that shows that even the Son of God wept. He had emotions and he cried.
When was this?
This is during the death of his friend Lazarus.
Okay, that's not when I was thinking. But I understand.
When were you thinking it was?
I thought you were actually gonna say it was before he got crucified.
Oh, when he was in the garden?
Yes, that's when I was gonna say, because I've been reading. That's the part of the Bible I'm currently at right now. I started from the New Testament and I'm gonna go back to the Old Testament. My dad had me reading the Old Testament a lot when I was a kid.
You said I had enough of that.
I actually just been enjoying the stories of the New Testament, really and truly. And I'm currently reading about the crucifixion, and I literally just read the part where I believe it was Peter. Peter cut off a servant's ear after
they tried to arrest Jesus.
Yes, after they tried to arrest Jesus. Judas, there we go. After Judas brought the soldiers to come arrest Jesus. And Jesus told Peter to put down his sword. I have to accept the cup that the Father gave me. And I paused big time, because I felt like that was a very, very crazy. In that moment, I felt like Jesus accepted what his fate was meant to be, or the plan that God had written for him. And to me, it was mind-boggling, because I'm like, that means you're accepting that you have to die on the cross, and you know it's coming. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna walk into it strongly. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, I took a whole step back because I was just like, is this how I need to be looking at my own situation? I always felt like
that's good, bro.
I always felt like, yeah, I literally always felt like, yo, I'm talking about it was crazy. I texted like 2 friends.
That's a deep revelation.
I texted 2 friends because I'm writing down notes, bro. I'm writing down notes. Like I was like, I literally wrote right next to it. Does this mean this? And I sent this to people because I was like, no, I need to know like right now. And I know they're in their Bible a lot more than me, but it felt great when they responded back to me like, yeah, you're on the right track. This is what this meant. And I was like, yo, I'm talking about revelation for me. Revelation.
You know what they say? The word of God is active. It's alive. It's sharper than a double-edged sword. Has a power to pierce between bone and marrow. So that is. Yeah, that's a deep revelation, bro.
And I just felt like it was crazy that this is what I just had so happened to be reading at the time that I'm actually thinking about everything I'm going through. Like Father's Day just passed, like Mother's Day was earlier this year, so I've already been in like an emotional state in a sense. But it was great. It was great reading that. I feel like it helped me, in a way that I haven't fully understood just yet, but I know it made a change. Yeah. And I appreciate that I was able to understand that and realize what he meant, and also that it gave me clarity and insight as to how I feel and how I should proceed to feel about my own situation. Like I really don't know what God has planned, but I do trust him. I do trust him because he's had me since I've moved here, and me moving here was a gamble. It was a gamble on its own, but a blessing that everything's worked out from. Me only having 10,000 in that first year to getting a job as soon as it's about to end. And when I left my first job, from him to have my dean line up another job for me as soon as I get back from visiting my mom, for me to quit that and have Nike come in immediately. Like there was never a point in time where like I didn't have a job or I wasn't able to provide for myself. And that's why like I'm always thankful, because like things could have been a lot worse. You know what I'm saying?
Jara. He'll have you in the right place at the right time, man. He's a provider.
Yes, bro.
Well, brother, I appreciate you sharing your story. I'm sure this is going to bless and inspire many others because, man, there's a lot of stuff like grief and trials and tribulation that people don't talk about, but it will definitely make you stronger. I had listened to a video one time. It says death changes you, and sometimes I feel like death changes you for, although it might sound weird, it changes you for the better sometimes. It makes you stronger. It builds you into the person that you probably wouldn't have been on your own if it wasn't for it. So I appreciate you sharing. You want to tell your people where they can find you at?
Y'all can find me at _lac.sam_ on Instagram. TikTok is just lac.sam. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir, I appreciate you sharing, brother.